Ben, let's start with the Fed then. We've been having some interesting conversations. Do we need to hear new messaging from Jerome Powell today around how much comfort or lack of comfort they got from the inflation prints earlier on this year with regards to rate cuts? Or have we already heard that from the Fed over the last couple of weeks?
Yes, so we are going to get a reiteration of that message, Anna. So it's May Day, and it's May Day for the Fed, because they are quite in a fair bit of distress here. Inexplicably, in December last year, the Fed turned uber dovish and penciled in 3 rate cuts for 2024. They had an opportunity to redeem themselves in March, but what did they do? They said that inflation was going to be higher, the economy is going to be performing a lot stronger, and yet they penciled in 3 rate cuts for 2024. Now, since then, inflation hasn't quite gone to script. The core PCE is averaging almost 3% this year. That is much higher than the Fed's 2.6% that they've penciled in. So inflation is clearly not cooperating, which means that Powell really doesn't have any choice today but to sound hawkish. Mind you, we do not get any summary of economic projections today, nor do we get a dot plot. So it will come down to Powell's signaling solely from his press conference today.
OK, so you say it's May Day. I mean, others would argue it's a nice problem to have when the economy is doing better than you had anticipated. But I know that's not the whole story, Ven. We've seen, as a result of this higher for longer expectation, then, investors perhaps growing bearish on treasuries, yields on the rise. You think that's set to continue?
Yeah, that is likely to continue. If you look at bearish positioning on treasuries, it's the highest we have seen in a long while. And that may continue with Powell's messaging expected today. I mean, 2-year yields, we've done a lot on 2-year yields in the past month, but we are likely to see the yield go up to 5.22% on the 2-year maturity if the markets price out the 1 rate cut that they are now expecting. I think that is possible, that is likely perhaps, but not immediately today. So there may be some profit taking on the back of Fed today.